I done got my life back, just like that. I can't go back, and I won't go back. I done got my life back.
Yes, who's back in town? It's only me, Paul Addict Mentor. Turn that smile, frown into a smile, or turn that frown upside down. How you doing? My name is, like I said, Paul Addict Mentor. I spent 22 years within prisons up and down England, as far down as HMP Parkhurst and Camphill, that was on the Isle of Wight, and I've gone as far north as HMP Doncaster and HMP Hull, which is in Humberside. Tonight I've come to talk to you about how I got 10 years, 6 months, 27 days in my version of events, how I recall it. I've talked about this on podcasts. I said how I got it, but I want to tell you what really bloody happened. So I've been on the streets for a while at this point. I'd been in full-blown active addiction. I'd had a firearm that I'd had for a few months. I was lost, and I was smoking a heck of a lot of crack, injecting heroin. Yes, Vicky, good evening. And I was doing that for ages, and I was hanging around St. Jude's in Bristol, around the Salvation Army hostel, and I was around some crazy ass people, man. There were a lot of drinkers, a lot of people drinking a lot of alcohol, cidering it up first thing in the morning, and I was the mad addict. And I've said to someone one night, I said, "Yo, good evening, Paula. How are you, mate?" And so I said to someone one evening, "Yo, let's go out. Let's do a move. I've got an idea. Let's just go do something at a cash point." You know, this is not me glamorizing people. This is just me talking facts. So what many of you do not know is I had a conspirator with me when I got my 10.5 years. The victims knew there was someone else. The police knew there was someone else. But I've never spoken this person's name, and I'm not about to. Anytime Peter Bowman, work on. Woof, woof, woof. So I've taken this guy. Little did he know I was a complete and utter loose cannon. Right? Good, Paula. That's what I like to hear. By the way, if you are watching me on Facebook, please, if you can afford it, send the stars. And if you do send them, please let me know, because I cannot see, because we are multi-streaming. So I've taken this guy and we've gone to Bristol city centre. We're stalking a few places where I think, we can make a couple of moves and stuff. And where KFC is in Bristol town centre on the hill opposite galleries, that used to be an Odeon. And opposite there used to be a little cash point. I don't think it's there anymore. It used to be where the little Waterstones is. Good evening, Nikki. And like an idiot, Nemesis, good evening, mate. I'm really, really well. Thank you so much for asking. I'm just telling this little story. I've got a few things to chat about. So I've seen this guy, and he was about in his 20s. He was about the same age as me. Leanne Hurd, what go on? Hair's looking on point. Yeah, man. Zasha did it today. Absolutely smashed it out of the park. She did. It's absolutely amazing. I'm lucky to have someone on point who does my hair for me like she does. Trust me, I know how extremely lucky I am. So I'm at this cash point. I've approached this guy from behind. I've put this firearm into his hip, and I've gone, I've got like a hooded top on and a scarf up to here. I've gone, mate, give me your money at a cash point. Yeah, it's looking sharp. Thank you so much, Paula. And not surprisingly, this guy has gone into complete and utter shock mode. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to put his own name into a cash point. Couldn't remember his own PIN number. Sorry. Yeah, he'd completely lost it. But I'm at a point where I need money, I need drugs. But most normal people would have called that a failed robbery and gone on to something else, gone on to an easier graft, gone shoplifting, whatever, I don't know. I didn't do that. So I've grabbed this guy. Now I've got a gun in his hip and I've walked him through Bristol city centre down to, and this is no word of a lie, to the taxi rank that used to be outside Bridewell police station, right? And I've got this guy in a taxi now, in the back of a taxi at gunpoint, and I've shipped him over to where he was living. I didn't know where he was living. I didn't know what a situation I was going to. But all I knew is I wanted crack. I wanted heroin, and I was getting it, and that was what was in my brain. So I said to this taxi guy, "Wait here, bruv. We won't be long." This is like completely like nutty thinking, completely out of, my brain was not firing on all cylinders like it does today. So I've asked this taxi driver to wait. Crazily, he's waiting because he's not been paid. He must not have realized the situation at all. He mustn't. And sorry about the yawning. But I just think if he knew, he would have just got on. So anyway, I've taken this guy to the house, to the front door. He's let himself in. I'm stood right behind him. I'll come into the house. There's an auntie, there's an uncle, there's a cousin. It's all gone fucking Pete Tong for me now, but I'm going crazy down. I'm like, listen, you fucking all sit down on the sofa. I need fucking money. I'm the man. Do you know what I mean? Just completely lost it. Cocked the firearm like I was fucking John Wayne. Do you know what I mean? Thinking, right, it's just crazy. So I've got 3 people tied up, and I've got the original guy I went into the house with. And please, I have to say this now. I'm telling you this for a reason. I don't tell you this because I'm bragging about it. I don't tell you this because it's somehow I want you to think, oh, look how mad he was. I'm telling you this for a reason. And we will get to that reason, obviously. So we're in this house. I've got them tied up. I've got cash cards. I've got PIN numbers. I've got jewelry, phones, all of that. And we've left with this guy now. So I've put this guy back in a taxi. We've gone round a few corners. I've gone, right, taxi driver, stop here, going to the cash point. Got out at cash point, emptied about 3 cash cards for what I could get. So now I've got about £700. It was about £250 a pop, so about £750 I had. But money head, crazy head goes, right, I want more. So we go to a shop. I've taken this guy into a shop. I've gone, right, what you're going to do now? I've still got the gun, but it's in my pocket now, like that. Do you know what I mean? I've gone, what you're doing now is you're going to go get me some cigarettes. Cigarette. In the middle of an armed robbery. Right, cigarettes. And you're going to get cash back. Now, I've already got 750 quid, right? But I'm still going on for like a £150 cashback deal. I don't know where my brain was. I really don't know. Anyway, it all came on top in the shop. Why? Because the fucking shopkeeper knew this guy and knew this guy was under fucking stress. Anyway, the shopkeeper's banged it. He's refused it. So I've got on. And I'm thinking life's sweet. Everything's gravy. Right, I'm spending this money. I'm enjoying myself. I'm not going out because I'm baked. And then the money runs out. So this is where the insanity of my drug addiction comes in. And this is why I'm telling you this story. Because my drug addiction was beyond anything that I can really comprehend. I can't put it into words how serious it was. All I can tell you is I never viewed people as people. I viewed them as financial entities. And that was the way my brain was, unfortunately. And I do regret it. I genuinely do. I don't like that I was like that. But some of the people in here this evening who actually know me and who's used with me and stuff, they will know I was a pain in the bloody ass. So a few days go by, my money's gone down, I'm back to nothing. All I got is this firearm. I ain't selling it because this is making me money. So I've gone back into town. I've gone to the exact same cash point, tried the exact same thing. However, the person I tried it on this time, he wasn't having none of it, and nor was 3 of his mates, right? So they've all tried getting on me. They've tried fucking me up, turning me over, and they basically grip me up. And until the police come, these 4 guys, it was three guys and the guy, yeah. So it was 4 guys. I'm not adding extra guys. I'm going, look, it took 4 guys to hold me down. No, I was fucking like 10 stone wet. I was full in active addiction. I had track marks, big ones going all the way down my neck. I had needle marks in my forehead. It was bad times for me at that point. So these guys have gripped me up, and I've gone to the police station. And now I'm thinking, worst case scenario here, right? I'm thinking firearms charge, 4 years, attempted robbery, maybe another 4 years. I'm thinking, I'm going to get like 4 years behind the door, do 2, maybe 3 years for my bad behavior. But when I'm in the police station, the horriblest thing happens to me, and it's karma. If you go out and put negative things into the atmosphere, you get negativity back. You put positive things and you get positive things back. And I'm going to tell you about some of them in a minute. So I'm in the police station. I'm at Trinity Road Police Station, right? I hated it then. They always thought I was psychotic. They never shut the police. They never shut the door. When I was in Trinity Road Police Station, they never shut the cell door on me. They used to put a table there and a police officer at the end, because you have to understand, I had crack psychosis. I had unresolved and undiagnosed mental health issues. So I had unresolved traumas running through me like a fucking plague. It was absolutely crazy. So, I never liked that police station. I could never get comfortable there. They thought I was off my head, crazy, doolally, mental. But whilst I'm in a police station, getting booked in for attempted robbery and possession of a firearm, these police officers look across to me and they go, right, it's your unlucky day, Paul. We are looking for someone with your MO, your modus operandi. Operandi. I'm sure one of you will tell me and you'll put it in the comments later. So they're looking for my modus operandi. And I get sent back to the police, the cells, right? Because now they want to interview me again. And I get called out. My brief wants to chat to me again because they're already here. Obviously, I've been interviewed on this other stuff already. So as they're going through, my briefs come and they pulled me into a room. And he's gone, right, Paul, this is the situation right here, right now. And you got to think, I'm in my early 20s, right? I'm in my early 20s. I'd been in a care setting since I was a young kid. I went straight out of the care setting into homelessness, semi-homelessness. I used to get a hostel here or a bed sit for a couple of weeks and stuff, or I'd get a squat somewhere. But that was the way I was living. And he's come to me and he's gone, right, Paul, this is your second serious robbery. They're looking at life if you get caught. If you get found guilty for this, you are looking at a life sentence. So I'm like, right, let's get this interview out of the way then. So, you see in the films, you see in the movies, they go, what do you say? And you go, no comment. I never went no comment. I did something called no response. So I just sat there for 2 hours as they were bulldozing me with these questions, and they are basically drawing a picture of what I did, and they were telling me exactly what happened, what went on when I went into the house. They've got all these people who they reckon they could ID me and everything. And I'm just sat there thinking, and this is the truth of it. I sat there at that point thinking, well, if it all comes on top, Lisa Mandenberg, you beautiful person, how are you? I thought, if it comes on top and I get this life sentence, this is how mad my head was. I thought, at least I've got somewhere to sleep. Right? I thought, at least there's somewhere to call home, and who knows, you make a life of it. And that was where my brain was. I was so messed up. I thought getting a life sentence was better than being homeless and struggling out here and dealing with my addiction and stuff. So that was the brain setting. And then I got remanded, yeah? And I'm on remand for 11 long blood clot months. I'm on remand for 11 months. And for 11 months, I've got prison officers saying, listen, you're going to have to get used to certain things because you're looking at a life sentence. Certain paperwork starts getting put in process just in case you get this life sentence. And it was really difficult. Like I said, I was young, and I was very young in my mind. So I got really violent within the jail. I've only ever smashed up one TV in prison my whole life, right? Because I wasn't that guy who went into jail and was like throwing TVs off of landings and stuff like that. I smashed up one TV, and that was whilst I was on remand, and I was just getting so frustrated with everything. Because what happens when you're in the police station and they're telling you you're getting life off and stuff? I know the police station well, yeah. Most people know Trinity Road, girl. Or what used to be Trinity Road. And when you're in that situation, it's really hard to sort of comprehend that you're looking at losing your life. So I'm on remand. I'm going through the processes and stuff, and I get to trial. And the judge I get now, if anyone knows Bristol from back in the day and they know the court system, I should get comments on this judge who I'm about to tell you about. He had a missus as well. And this judge was, the judge was Darwell Smith. His honor, Darwell Smith. Now, this guy was an animal in the courts. You know what I mean? If everyone knew, you go up in front of Darwell Smith, you're kind of in trouble. There was two judges, right? So you had Lester Boothman, a.k.a., no jokes, let him go Lester, right? Because he's give you easy sentences. And he gave me an easy sentence. He gave me probation on some at once. And you had Darwell Smith. Damn him, Darwell. Do you know what I mean? It's like, down you go. And we're going through the trial. And whilst I'm going through the trial, now you have to remember, I'm actively using in jail. I'm getting drugs every day. Everyone's looking after Simo because Simo was doing looking at a life sentence. So every day people giving me gear. Every day people giving me this. Oh, you got him. You're screwed. So they're all giving me all of these drugs. And I promise you this happened. I'm sat in court. I'm about day 2 of my trial. Been listening to them just brutalize me for 2 days. I'm sat there and I thought, fuck it, I'm having a boot in court. So I'm running heroin now on foil in court. I'm smoking this like a fucking idiot. I'm looking at losing some serious numbers of my life, some serious year time. But I'm smoking because I'm young and I'm thinking I'm lost anyway. After lunch, I'm not busted. I can hardly see. After lunch, my brief goes, oh, by the way, your Queen's Counsel said you're giving evidence this afternoon, so you're up in the box. Now, I'm geared up. I'm fucked. So about 20 minutes later, Mr. Simmons to court 4, please. So I've gone up Bristol Crown Court, court 4. I've gone up the big glass screens and all of that crap. And they've put me in the box. And this guy's hitting me up with some questions, man. Leon Wagwan, brother. They're hitting me up with some serious questions about what happened, where I was, trying to make me feel really guilty. And I'm just going like, mate. No. I'm like this. I'm like, that may have happened to him. Because I ain't saying that didn't happen to him, right? And my voice is all like gear croaky and everything. But I'm going, I'm telling you that it wasn't me, right? It wasn't me. I'm telling you. I've looked at Darwell Smith. I know what you're thinking. Big black man in court. It must be him. Previous robberies on his record. It must be him. I'm telling you, it wasn't me, right? So, evening, David. How are you, beautiful? I hope you're all right, mate. So I've come back down. My barrister's gone, mate. That was an absolute disaster. You absolutely destroyed that. Any chance of anything going well? I'm going, nah, man. You're all right. You're going to rescue me. You're going to be, I can see us getting a not guilty from this, right? So, and the trial is going from bad to worse, from day after day after day after day. And this is the crunch point. The main guy from the robbery, he's up in giving evidence now. And the guy was very compelling. He didn't forget anything. He remembered every single detail, the conversation that we had in the taxi. This guy remembered absolutely everything. And this is, now I've talked about this many times before, but this is what this guy said, right? My Queen's Counsel, the QC, you only get these when they know you're in big trouble. Indictable offences, they call it. So the QC's gone, right. So you're saying he had a scarf across his face. He had a hooded top on, tied up tight. So you couldn't really see his face. But you identified my client on the Viper ID parade. This was very early doors when they started doing digital ID parades. And he's gone, yeah. And he's gone, and you say you were about 5 meters away? And he's gone, yeah, absolutely. No, it was the second guy. It wasn't the first guy, it was the second guy, because the first guy was with me the whole time. He couldn't ID me. The guy who actually did it, he couldn't ID me, because like I said, I scared him so much. But it was the uncle. And the uncle said these brutal words to me, and I'll never forget this until the day I die. My Queen's Counsel stupidly said, so he was that far away from you, had his face covered apart from his eyes. How do you know? How are you so sure it's my client? And he said, because every time I go to sleep at night, I see those eyes staring back at me. And at that point, my ass just went, it just went, oh shit. Because no matter what happens now, in these split seconds, it was peak. I promise you, every single member of the jury just went, and was just looking me dead in the eyes. And I was mashed. Another day where I was just smoking to get high and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because what people don't understand, when I was in jail, it was just to get high. I just needed to like forget things. And I used it to my detriment many, many times. So he said that the day of the trial, the day of sentencing comes. Now I've had to wait. I had to wait a little while, right? I've been found guilty. That was pretty obvious, yeah. I got found guilty. Then I had to go back to the prison. Then I had to come back to court. Oh, by the way, when I got sentenced, I called Darwell Smith a pussy as well. I called him a pussy. I called a Crown Court judge a pussy because he wouldn't sentence me there and then. Chris Ralph Wagwan, man. Good evening, my brother. So I've gone back to court now. Like I said, this has been a long, drawn out process. And by this time, all any prisoner wants to do is get on with their time. They want to know that they've started it. There's an end date somewhere. They need somewhere to look for. You know, when your guts fell out and you're on your ass. Out your ass. Yeah, they did. And I'm going to tell you when they didn't know. So I've gone up and Darwell Smith, you know, he's summing up and he's calling me a one-man crime wave. He called me a person without any empathy. He said I was reckless when it comes to endangerment of life. All of these things Darwell Smith saying to me. And then the first drop comes, 10 years. Then the second drop comes, 10 years. Third, fourth, and fifth drop, 10 years. And then I get some silly years. I get 4 years, 4.5 years, 3 years. And then I'm going to tell you about Dorch in a minute if you want. I've got a story for Dorch for you. And then he hit me with a license from a previous sentence, 6 months, 27 days. And so I'm sat there facing about 100 years. And Darwell Smith looked at me and gone, Mr. Simmons, I want you to have some sort of life. I want you to be able to do something with your future. So I'm going to run all of these sentences concurrent, obviously apart from the 6 months, 27 days. So that is how I ended up getting 10 years, 6 months, 27 days, all because I was an idiot, smoking lots of drugs, and I didn't know how to stop. I hope you like that little prison story, like the one prison story, road story. But I'm going to tell you a little quick one about HMP Dorchester, because Chris Ralph asked. I got shipped out of Guy's Marsh for slicing up a yardie, right? I got shipped out of Guy's Marsh for that. I got shipped to Dorchester, little dinky Dorch. And when I was there, they've come to ship me out to Dartmoor. I wasn't having Dartmoor for nothing. They ended up coming in my cell with the shields, with the fucking helmets on, and dislocating both of my ankles, man. Both of my ankles. They snapped. Oh, it was so painful. I was laughing at them. Do you know when you get to the point when you're so crazy, you go, boom. Paula, I'm glad you loved it. Love your prison stories, Nikki. Thank you so much. I'm just trying to get used to telling parts of my life to you lot, and I'm going to start remembering more and more and more things. Today, to Dorch was your local. Yeah, they shut it down when they tried shipping me out, mate. And we had a couple of sit-outs on the exercise yard in Dorch. You know, where the education block used to be. We had sit-outs there a couple of times. Oh, dearly, dearly little Dorchester with the servery on the ones. Oh, yes. I remember HMP Dorchester well. So today, I've got a little bit of news for you all, just to finish off. I was contacted by a guy called Jim Smith. He's a cameraman, producer, filmmaker. He's made multiple award-winning films. And he wants to make some films for me, about me. He would like to make a documentary, maybe. And, you know, I feel very, very blessed. He's done his research on me. He's binged all of the stuff that I've done. He knows what he's talking about. So, yeah, things are really looking up. And I just want to thank every single one of you for supporting me, as you do. Please keep coming on, checking my YouTube, check my TikTok. Please like, subscribe, and share, obviously. Yeah, honestly, Paul, I feel so blessed. So many things are happening. I'll definitely watch that. Thank you, mate. I'll be able to tell you more tomorrow because I'm having a meeting with him at 12 o'clock tomorrow. So I will let you know. But that is me for this evening. Exactly 30 minutes. That's not bad. Paul Beaton, you've missed the whole thing. You have to watch it back, my friend. Watch me back. Have an amazing evening, everyone. And if you want any clocks or anything like that, anything homemade, something special, anything, go check out the Crazy Cider Man, aka Paul Beaton, who has just come in the room now. That's how much I got you, mate. All right? We got you. Check out the Crazy Cider Man. Peace and love, you lot.